Hello guys, good morning. We are from group 7 and my name is Maulidi Junhardi and my partner is Diki Supriyanto. Okay, today we will presenting about the systematic study of meaning. Okay, next. In the systematic of meaning, we will learn about the real meaning from the text with a new language we never know before, because sometimes we are not sure about new language and what the message or the meaning. And three disciplines are concerned with the systematic study of meaning: psychology, philosophy, and linguistics. Psychology is how humans learn, how they retain, recall, or lose information, how they classify, make judgment, and solve problems. And in other words, how humans seeks the meaning. For example, when you get a trouble, automatically you will try to find the solution to solve the problem. Philosophers of language are concerned with how we know how any particular fact that we know or accept as true is related to other possible facts. In other words, what must be attended to the fact. For example, now the coronavirus has entered in Indonesia, and many cases have occurred. So in this case, we will compare the news it's true or not. We can searching for find the information about the news is it's true or not. And the last, linguists want to understand how language works. To see about knowledge, if two people pause when they share a language that makes it possible for them give and get information to express their feelings, to identifying the meaningful. And for example, English word like dry and heavy, and affixes like the er of driver and the un of unhappy. It is concerned with describing how such elements go together to express more complex meaning. So in the sentence, like the driver is unhappy. Okay, and the second is the nature of language. In the nature of language, we will learn about the different communication of human and animals. Animals have some system for communicating with other members of their species to transmit and interpret messages that signal friendliness or hostility and the presence of food or of the danger. But human language differs from this animal communication. Humans alone are able to talk about vast number of things which come from accumulated knowledge, memory, and imagination. And then the human have stimulus free and creative. The simple fact is that the human mind deals easily and frequently with what does not exist or what does not yet exist. Nobody can explain just how people are able to abstract elements from their sensory world and put these elements together in ways that are really familiar. Yet, that is just what happens when the architect envisions a building not yet erected. It's like we are imagining something that already exists or has never existed with stimulus free and creative.
In the material 1.3 about language and the individual. For as you can see in our PowerPoint, every human child with a few pathological exceptions learn the language of the society in which it grows up. A child acquires fundamentals of language in the first 5 or 6 years of life, perhaps the greatest intellectual feat of its lifetime. Our ability to use language and our ability to think and conceptualize develop at the same time, and these abilities depend on each other, so we can try to understand something in our age if our age is no longer to reach that conceptualize. We use the term grammar to mean two things: the implicit knowledge that a speaker has and the explicit description and explanation of it by the linguist. And so part of grammar, as we know, phonology, syntax, and morphology. Okay, the next is 1.4 about demonstrating semantic knowledge. As we know, when we learn semantic, sometimes in one day we will demonstrating it in our communication for all our day. Here you can see in our PowerPoint 10 paragraphs demonstrate 10 aspects of any speaker's semantic knowledge. First one, speakers know in a general way whether something is or is not meaningful in their language. For example, Rooney sculpted a statue. 1b, Rooney cried. 1c, the statue cried. 1d, statue a Rooney sculpted anomaly is an anomaly text or paragraph sentence I mean. 2. Speakers of a language generally agree as to when two sentences have essentially the same meaning and when they do not. The example is Rebecca got home before Robert. Rebecca got home before Rebecca. Robert arrived at home after Rebecca. Rebecca got home later than Robert. To A and to C and to B and to D are paraphrased. 3. Speakers generally agree when two words have essentially the same meaning in a given context. He will going to Paris next week. He is scheduled to go to Paris next week. This sentence we know synonym. The next, speakers recognize when the meaning of one sentence contradict another sentence. The example, Edgar is married. B. Edgar is no longer young. The sentence is contradictory. The next one, speakers generally agree when two words have opposite meanings in a given context. The example is, I hate you so much. 5b, I love you more. This sentence we call antonyms. And 6, synonym and antonym have to have same common element of meaning in order to be, respectively, the same or different. The example, 6a, street lane road, pet house avenue. 6b, by tech, you still acquire inherit. This sentence called semantic feature. 7. Some sentences have double meanings. They can be interpreted in two ways. 7a, Marjorie John doesn't care of her parakeet, doesn't like it, doesn't take care of it. Marjorie took the sick parakeet to a small animal hospital. Small hospital for animal, hospital for small animals. This text called ambiguity. 8. Speakers know how language is used when people interact. There's great new comedy at the Old Town Playhouse. So I've heard. What is called? When did it open? So do I. Are you sure? It is comedy. The sentence like this called adjacency pair. 9. 9a, just for the example, there's a tulips in the garden. 9b, there's a flower in the garden. Entailment. 10a, Andy Murphy usually drives his Datsun to work. 10b, there is a person named Andy Murphy. 10c, Andy Murphy works. 10d, there is a Datsun that belongs to Andy Murphy. 10e, Andy Murphy knows how to drive an automobile. the sentence called presuppositional. Okay, just for you know, in the sentence 9 and 10, the sentence are example of entailment, assuming that 9A and 9B are about the same garden. The truth of 9A entail the truth of 9B. That is, if 9A is true, 9B must also be true. And 10, in the 10, the meaning of sentence 10A is prepusos, what is expressed in 10B, C, D, and E. The latter are presuppositional of 10A, not the prepositional. Speaker know that the message conveyed in one sentence may presuppose other piece of knowledge. So in the tense, for the little example, the sentence will focus on one example. So that's all from us. Thank you.